It's the Brad and John Show.
It's the Brad and John Show, July 24th. John, what is today? What is the holiday today? What's that holiday, John?
It is a brand new holiday called 247day.com.
That's
and
right.
You need to spell it out. If there's one thing people want to do, it's enter about 25 characters into a URL. 247day.com. Brad, I wonder where most of your traffic is going to come from yesterday and today when you look at your referrals on that website.
John, let me ask you something. And to answer your question, it's going to come from you because of the fact that you are
That's right. I know. Go ahead.
You are the internet god. Okay. Why is it that when I play Mr. Thrifty, because I told you the story, I could have bought 247day.com, but it was $2,400 because somebody bought it and they're sitting on the domain, they're trying to flip it and make a lot of money. But instead, I bought 247day.com, which you spelled it out with my discount on GoDaddy. I paid $11.09 with tax. Okay. So why did I make the wrong choice by saving, $2,499 or something like that? Why did I make the wrong choice?
Oh, I don't think it's the wrong choice at all. I think it's the best choice based on your resources.
Okay, there we go. Okay, the B block is what resides in the B block now, John, and which you said, John's the eternal pessimist when it comes to Brad. You said, I think Brad will probably do, or hold, let me do the John voice. I think Brad will probably do that Brad's top 3 for maybe 3 days.
I think, and we are officially, so everybody knows, I was skeptical that Brad would keep this up for longer than a week or two. I said you would go somewhere between Bradcam and Westplex.social. So Bradcam lasted a whole 8 days. That was your shiny object at the beginning of 2024 that you quickly gave up on because updating something every day is too hard. And you don't update this website every day. You do it 5 days a week. But Brad, you're approaching Westplex Social, which I think you did for about 2 months. So yeah, it's amazing, Brad.
Okay, so you want to hear your favorite jingle?
I do. I can't wait.
It's time for Brad's Top 3.
It is. It's time for Brad's Top 3, and we have to sing it twice. Ladies, one more time.
It's time for Brad's Top.
And what do we start with, Top 3, John? Tell me which one we start with.
It's time for number 3.
It's number 3.
Number 3. There's an article that I read yesterday, and once again, it's one of these articles that you complain about this, and I think this very well may have been written by AI because it didn't really tell me what I wanted to know. And the article was about, if I can get my phone to work here. I think my phone's dying on me. Hold on a minute. Let me go right here. It was on the KSDK website, and the article was about Missouri power bills, Missouri electric bills. You know what I'm talking about?
No, can you be a little more vague?
It talked about the fact that Missouri is going to pay. Missouri is going to pay the highest electric rates in the country.
The highest spike in nation. Now, I'm not going to load the whole thing because when you load the KSDK website on a desktop or a laptop, it pops up 47 different windows asking you to sign up and watch 7 more videos. So I'm not going to load it. But I just Googled it and I saw the headline. Yeah, I'm sure it's an AI piece, Brad, that has very little real content, and it's just based off data generation.
Missouri's electricity bills to see highest spike in nation from Trump's big, beautiful bill, report says. Okay, John, explain how Trump's big, beautiful bill is going to make our state's Missouri or our state's electric bill spike.
I'd love to. So go scroll down, Brad. Report says, so that's slang for an interest group either sponsored by solar or wind or some other alternate energy, put together, manufactured a study where the outcome was predetermined, and then did a report so that KSDK and others don't have to write their own story. And Patsies like Brad Hildebrand will read it and say, well, gee whiz, report says. So who was the report, Brad?
John, I don't know. Who was it?
So what you're doing right now, Brad, in your position of responsibility as a radio host, you're reading a headline that says report says without doing the legwork of scrolling down and seeing who the report's from. Brad, yesterday you did your monthly homage to Dr. Camille Winter, and you talked about flying a whizzing drone with deer urine over his cemetery.
Right.
Brad, what would Camille Winter say if he knew that you read to an influential Missouri audience a headline that said report says, and you didn't know who the report was from?
First off, I would be sitting in my desk as I was in classroom, and he would walk over to your desk, and he would bend over, and his nose would be about 2 a quarter inch away from your nose, and he would use his fingers. He'd do that thing with his thumb against his fingers, and he'd sort of talk with that one hand, and he'd sort of yell in your ear, Brad, you don't know what you're talking about. Do your homework, Brad. Do your homework. Do your research. That's
Brad, when a man gets that close to your face and uses his thumb and forefinger, I don't want to hear the rest of that story.
Okay, one of the paragraphs said, now this is what I find interesting. The report doesn't take into account the additional price increase Missouri's push to nuclear energy will force on residents. Okay, John, am I missing something? Has there been a push for nuclear energy in Missouri? I mean, we've got...
Yeah, so last week, the key decision makers in Missouri convened in Columbia for a nuclear summit. Representatives from U.S. Congressman Bob Onder's office were there. A woman named Camelia Peterson talked about this on the Elijah Har Show, guest hosted by Bishop Davidson yesterday. Yeah, Brad, there has been a big push for nuclear. However, to answer your more direct question, which you didn't ask, but should have Missourians seen an increased rate because of a nuclear push? No.
Well, Missourians have seen are already seeing an increased rate because of the fact that the stupid Republicans and Democrats laid down and passed this stupid bill where we're paying for the utilities to build stuff before we even pay for the power bill. That would be like you saying to someone, hey, I'm going to buy a new house in a couple of years. So when you come by my house and I give you dinner, I'm going to charge you $100 for my new construction cost for my new house. And you go like,
that's fair. That's like if I gave money, if I called Dial a Prayer and then contributed, and then they use that money to sue a wacky radio host.
See,
and I'm like, man, I hope he does a video and says, I won't say the name of the station, but he subtly has the radio station, the Lutheran radio station in the back. I love that touch, Brad. That was so brilliant of you.
Are you being facetious or
what?
I'm
being dead serious. I love that. You're like, I'm not going to say. It's an unnamed radio, and then KFUO is in the back.
It's the Lutheran Church. And to give you an idea of how dedicated I am to that, I drove down there to take that picture Monday. I literally...
Of course you did. And by the way, let me interrupt, Brad. A report says that Trump's big, beautiful bill will mean more money for KFUO. Who's the report? The Hildebrand Center for Radio Instigation. That's who the report's from.
See, but see, this is frustrating to me because of the fact that I have a particular electrical entity. I'm not going to say it's Quiver River Electric, but I wouldn't ever accuse of Quiver River Electric. But
of course not.
When you see the documentation sent out by, we're a family, we're a cooperative, we're so warm and fuzzy, we're just like you. We're not a big board of directors. We're not this big corporation with stock. We're your local residents. We live right here in the community. We're a cooperative. And then when you deal with them, it's like, hey, buddy, we got the juice and you don't. If you want electricity,
they're more like an uncooperative.
Right, they're an uncooperative.
You know what else is uncooperative? If we only have 8 minutes left and you haven't even gotten to story number 2, Brad.
Do you want me to go to number 2?
Let's do it.
Okay, number 2.
It's time for Brad's number 2.
Okay, what would be a day without me talking about KWMU? First off, it's gotten unlistenable, okay? Why is that? Because if you think their pledge drives are obnoxious, you ain't heard nothing yet. And I'm telling you, John, I'm not exaggerating when I tell you this. They must be doing 5 or 6 pitches an hour. And we're not talking like me where I play a little 30-second, hey, it's 24/7 day, blah, 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 blah. I mean, they have 2 people talking. Hi, this is Wayne Pratt, and I'm the news director here. And last night, as I'm eating my dinner in the parking lot of McDonald's, what an exciting life I live, and I ordered the $5 value meal, and I find out that you no longer have the choice between the McDouble and the McChicken. Now it's just a McChicken. I hear this pitch go on for 5 minutes, and they talk about how they are so incredibly good at covering news items. And they talk about the tornado. And the one thing, I guess this is their news director, whoever it was, and he says, well, to give you an example, when the tornado hit, I called up Jason Rosenbaum and had him come in to do a newscast. I'm thinking to myself, isn't that what you do to begin with? Don't you do newscasts to begin with? Isn't that what you're supposed to be doing? Because, John, if I'm not mistaken, didn't the tornado hit on the weekend? Wasn't that like a weekend kind of deal?
It sure did, and you would expect that no reporters would be around.
Right, they were all off because it's in your union contract. Oh, we don't work weekends. We're in the SEIU. Okay, first off, that's first thing. Every damn hour they're doing the thing. And I'm thinking to myself, you would think, and it's funny because people thought I was serious, you would think that they're like in bankruptcy court like KDHX. And unless they raise $575,000 within the next 2 hours, their transmitter is going to go off the air. I mean, it's like dire straits.
But let's interrupt, Brad. The idea is, the reason why they do it so often is it has maybe a little bit to do with money, but mostly it gives them a free shot at President Trump. So they know that they're not going to go out of business. They've already announced that they're not laying anybody off, but it gives them an opportunity to bash Trump, but do it in a way that's not quote unquote political. That's what it's all about.
Okay, John, here's first off, this is a two-part with KWMU. Okay, first off, how would they solve this problem? The same way that Stephen Colbert could save his show. Let's say Stephen Colbert comes on the air tonight and says, you know what, my show's gotten real biased. Yeah, I'm in the tank for the Dems. Yeah, I'm a liberal dude. But you know what? That eliminates probably half of the United States population. So starting tonight, I'm going to talk about things that the Democrats and the Republicans will enjoy hearing about. So that will double our audience. KWMU could do the whole thing. Yeah, I know we talk about a lot of transgender stuff here, and we talk about it whenever it's funny. John comes up with these funny lines about what are the people missing because the Riverfront Times isn't publicized anymore? What kind of events are we not covering anymore because of that? Come on, tell me what
you mean hipster events?
Well, you come up with these crazy events like, the so and so.
Oh yeah, like the transgender bearded disabled veterans bash
right.
At Tower Grove Park.
Right, that kind of stuff. Okay, people right away would go, oh my God, KWMU's saying nice things about Trump now. Maybe I listen, and maybe I'll send them some money. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I disagree, Brad. I think they should continue. I don't think anybody with a moderate or slightly conservative mindset thinks that anybody besides Jason Rosenbaum is worth anything there. And I think most people find them unlistenable, unreadable, and they should continue to focus on old, crabby, League of Women Voters types and purple hairs and blue hairs in the transgender community. Raise money from them, because you're never going to become like, they're so far gone, they're never going to come back.
See, when I'm sitting there eating my McChicken, listening to this guy drone on about how they have, and he keeps talking, we have the best journalists in town, blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking to myself, dude, you need to take, I'm starting to do courses, John. I'm going to do a UPod course. I'm going to do the under promise, over deliver course, where you don't tell everybody how great you are. You say, you know what, we're working real hard at being the best, and we're not quite there yet. And we're really working hard, and every day we're trying to make things better. And you know what? If you come into our bake shop and you order a dozen donuts, chances are you're going to get 13. We're going to under-promise and over-deliver. But instead, he's telling about, we've got the best editors and the best journalists. I'm going, dude, give me a break, okay?
It's like every time I go see a performance at the President Donald J. Trump Center for the Performing Arts, I lower my expectations.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying, Brad?
Number 2, this is 2B. Also, in the same thing, I listened to Elaine Cha twice. I listened to her during the day, and then when I was munching on my McChicken in the parking lot.
Well, a lot of munchers listen to Elaine Cha. We know that, Brad.
The parking lot at McDonald's last night. She had these people on, some guy who was some company that like is a traffic management company, like car traffic, and then some lady from the Greenway, what is it, the Gateway Greenway.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
And what they were talking about was, this drives me nuts. And this is an exact thing of what happened in West County with the stupid traffic calming devices on Clarkson and Long Road. Okay.
The bump outs. You mean the bump outs?
they're giving all these, well, for example, North Grand is 7 lanes wide. It's 7 lanes. It's got 3 lanes going this direction and 3 lanes going that direction. It's got a center left turn lane. We're going to narrow it down to 2 lanes, and that way we won't have people driving 80 miles an hour down North Grand. Okay, so once again, here's the problem. Why are there people driving? And there is a problem with all these terrible accidents in the city, people getting killed and stuff like that. John, do you know what the problem is? You know what the real problem is? It's not that there's 7 lanes on North Grand. You know what the real problem is?
There's not enough cops to pull people over that break the law.
Exactly. I mean,
and if you had that, then people would not drive
I'm
70
thinking to myself,
down, Market.
I'm thinking to myself, what do these people not understand? And then the one lady talks about they're reading comments from listeners, and I've never been on this before, but was it the Riverfront Trail that goes from the Arch up into North City and goes across the Chain of Rocks Bridge? You know what I'm talking about?
No, but it sounds like a great place to get mugged.
Well, the lady's complaining about this is a trail. The lady's complaining about she walks the trail and people are driving their cars at 45 miles an hour on the Riverfront Trail. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, once again, how do we stop that? We hire more cops.
We hire more social workers.
We don't hire more social workers. And they're going through this whole thing about bump outs. And this guy, well, I was just down in Jackson, Missouri, and I was at Cape Girardeau, and I'm advising them on putting in curb bump outs.
That's good. Ask Ben Keithley about that. Brad, is today the first day for Brad's top 3 that we're going to have to bump into C Block? Because it's 7:40, and we added a 2B, but we haven't gotten to a Center for Performing Arts.
But then, get this, they talk about bike lanes, and they say the bike lanes in the St. Louis area are unprotected. We need to put in Jersey barriers and if you don't know what the Jersey barriers...
What's that?
You know what a Jersey barrier is, don't you?
Are those the pokey uppy things that are plastic?
No. You really don't know what a Jersey barrier is?
No, I don't.
Okay, the Jersey barrier is the concrete center dividers on 270, things like that. The reason this was interesting because, once again, I learned this from my father. This has been around a long time.
He was a civil engineer.
Yes, he was a civil engineer. And the Jersey barriers are interesting in the respect that this was actually developed by the New Jersey Department of Transportation. And the reason was they used to have guardrails that divided traffic on like 270, things like that. But what they found out was the guardrails cause more accidents. When you hit the guardrail, you lost control of your car and you smashed and you overturned, you caused more accidents. The Jersey barriers have that side where it's like got an angle on the bottom of it. And what that does is if you run into the barrier, and not like at an angle, but if let's say you're driving along and you drift into the barrier, it essentially straightens out your wheel and puts you back in the traffic lane. So that's why they're called.
That's interesting. Yeah. I never knew that, Brad.
Yes, they were called, and they were originally called the New Jersey barriers. Everybody calls them Jersey barriers. Now, think about that for a minute. They are expensive. Those things are expensive. You buy them in segments, or if you have them, put in a continuous, like you squeeze them out of a tube, like they do in like the interstates now. Well, and the thing for me is I drive in Clayton all the time. Clayton's a perfect example. They've already done this in Clayton. They took Merrimack and turned it from, or is that Merrimack? No, Maryland. Maryland. They took Maryland from 4 lanes, which was great to go on. Now it's 2 lanes, and the cars park out in the street, and then you have a lane where there's bikes. And guess what you never see in those bike lanes, John? Guess what you never see?
Bikes.
Yes, you never see bikes. It's just like out in your neck of the woods. Remember the big controversy when they did Baxter Road? They resurfaced Baxter Road between Clarkson and all the way down to Edison in the valley.
And what did the bikers say about that, Brad?
We need to have, instead of 4 lanes, it needs to be 2 lanes and a bike lane. And the crazy thing was the residents out there go, okay, hold on a minute. Baxter is already a bottleneck already. You're going to take it from 4 lanes down to 2 lanes, and we're going to do this for the bicyclists who are never around? This isn't Copenhagen, or this isn't like Europe where everybody rides a bike. This is good old USA, where we look at those people in spandex and go, oh my God, can you believe that guy's out there in a $4,000 bicycle in his spandex? That's what we do in Missouri, right?
Brad, if that was any better performance, we'd have to see it at the Trump Center for Performing Arts.
Should I carry this over into?
I think you should, Brad, because we need to give it due time.
Okay. Hold. Let me just do this, okay? Okay.
And now, big finish, Brad's number 1.
To be continued. How's that, John?
What would you do with a brain if you had one?
Did I tell you I was out at the store the other day? Did I tell you the story, John?
No, and was there a woman named Dorothy there? Did she ask you a question?
And she kept giving me the eye, and I thought to myself, I'm going to go over and talk to her.
Oh, yeah? What happened?
And
You were at the shops at Lake St. Louis.
I walked right up to her, and I go, hi, I saw you eyeing me. I go, you want to say something to me? And she said,
What would you do with a brain if you had one?
Thank God. I thought we were going to break that streak. You're the Pete Rose of Wizard of Oz drops, Brad.